Welcome back to the Spearhead cast, everyone. With me, Matt. Welcome to Rails and Metal Extended. We got a Western Front fight for you all. Let's get through the players, shall we? Representing the Allies. We have Q for the British Commonwealth. Possum Pie for the British Commonwealth. Fortune Blouse for the British Commonwealth. And Hugh Gen for the British Commonwealth. It's a full-on British army. We have the Royal Guard for Hugh Gen. We have Royal Artillery for Fortune. We have nothing yet for Possum Pie. And Q hasn't picked anything else yet. On the Axis side, we have Tom Klaas as mechanisierte Tactics for the Waffen-SS. Rocco as Infanteriedivision for the Wehrmacht. Professor as Jäger-Tactics for the Waffen-SS. And Aldog as Ostdivision for the Wehrmacht. An interesting combination. And oh, we're seeing Aldog is going for full-on Osttruppen. Lots of Osttruppen coming in. We have Canadians arriving for the British. A cheap unit alternative you can get if you play as Royal Artillery Regiment. You can also see that Eugene has gone Guards Hammer, or is it Anvil? Let me check. It's Anvil, which actually gives his basic rifleman an extra man, which is a really big deal, by the way. The Canadians on the northern flank. Stavros going on the south here. Yeah, this is the Rails and Metal map from Vanilla, just extended to fit with 4 people. So it's a lot bigger of a map actually. Looks like the Ostrom will try to do cover hopping, which is not going to be easy here. The British are really good at range, and we also have lots of Canadians coming onto the field. Because normally not used to British getting access to a cheap unit, but the Canadians really can fill that niche, giving you a lot more manpower on the battlefield. So the Waffen-SS is quickly sitting up behind this Stonehenge and is using it to their advantage. A Stonehenge, rather. Oh yeah, the British troops are already being cut down. Some Grenadiers alongside the SS troops will definitely make a good work of the Allies here. Looks like the Canadians are trying to flank. Or at least get up to behind cover to provide more support fire. I'm not sure if the Germans can hold this position, but they might be able to, as more veteran Grenadiers and some Sturm Grenadiers are coming in. Now on the southern flank, looks like the SS is still holding on here and laying mines on the front line. Meanwhile, the Osttruppen are trying to fight the Grenadiers here, the Royal Fusiliers rather, up here. Impact grenade going in, but the Sappers died for it. MT-34 coming over for the Osttruppen. I think the British will not be able to hold this northern flank for long. Canadians are going to do a good job here holding. We also have some marksman rifles being handed out to the Canadians. Looks like the Osttruppen will slowly start creeping up towards the field point. Lots of Eastern Europeans here basically serving for the Germans. Either conscripted against their will or willing volunteers. But generally, if you saw non-Germans on the Western Front, they were often volunteers, or well, not really volunteers, they were actually often forced, because many of them would actually rather only fight communists, not the Allies. So yeah, these Ostrom are likely not enjoying fighting for the Germans, they're doing it against their will. Well, the Canadians are holding up the center here, but MT-42 is arriving for the Germans. It's going to try and use this building. Hopefully the Canadians will hold there for long once the MG gets set up. But they are going to try and get as many shots in as possible by the looks of it. Now I have some other news in real life here for me. Oh, we finally have a commander pick for one of them. It is Royal Tank, a good choice. Anyway, I started my internship job the day I am recording this, which is Monday. And it was hard, but I finally am actually working it, so that's a good feeling. One of those Canadians have been cut down. But yeah, I just arrived back and I'm feeling quite tired and exhausted in my legs and feet. So I'm glad to just be able to sit down and record this, as I can relax for a little bit at least. It looks like we have a Recade team here present. Taking pot shots at the machine gun crew. Bren gun in the building here will definitely provide a good fire. fort in place being set up by the lieutenant here. The lieutenant of the Royal Hamilton. Okay. I guess we'll probably be able to stop these Osthuben. Yeah, already pinning them. Osthuben are not very good quality infantry. They're cheap infantry. Looks like the Storm Grenadiers are gonna head northwards. Already being armed with scoped Sturmgewehrs. Using the trench there to the advantage. Grenade though. Didn't do too much, but it did wound a lot of them. So I don't think they're gonna have to stay there for long, but they might be able to get some damage out on this lieutenant. Royal Fusiliers are trying to come down to provide some more fire though. And a few more good rifle shots and the SS might have to abandon that little endeavor. Looks like we have a plane coming overhead, airdropping in weapons for the Canadians to use. An AT gun and a Vickers machine gun. Osthuben managed to get a grenade off. And the southern flank is getting reinforced by mechanized troops of the Waffen-SS. Although the Germans have to capture this point here to move on. Oh, and I think we have another commander choice. Royal Commando Regiment. Oh, that's cool to see. Commando Regiment is one of the more unique and esoteric commanders, if esoteric is the right word to use. That it can do a lot of behind enemy lines kind of stuff. It'd be very sneaky. Probably one of the few commanders that like completely specializes at being a very sneaky commander. It's just very hard to pull off sometimes. Some artillery going in here. Looks like it's some fire for effect. That's actually going to be really lethal. Yeah, and the Germans are already evacuating. They're realizing what's happening. Oh, we also have some Jäger F-class present here. A 3-man elite squad armed with a sniper rifle. Or with one sniper rifle. And he's going to be very effective at just taking pot shots at the British lines.
Infantry squads ready for all-out attacks. Air support standing by.
It's gonna be very fascinating to see what both sides do here. Like a full-on British team is very unusual, but it's cool to see. British are, in my own opinion, probably one of the hardest factions to play in the Spearhead. Just a personal opinion. Because they're much more quality-based than usual, and their stuff generally costs more than the others, even the Germans. Unless you're playing the Waffen-SS specifically. But they are also very, very good, generally. They got some very good utility and some very good tanks later on, too, like the Churchill. A Royal Guard here in the top flank. That's going to be very good late game, because they can scale well in with getting heavy emplacements on Churchills. Overall, the Churchill tank is something you should always love to get. Like, that thing is very hard to destroy. Oh, it looks like the Germans, the SS has set up a fort place down there. They're not putting it too close to the front line, which is smart. Lieutenant present for the Osthuben, trying to bombard the Canadians.
A forward position is being attacked.
It looks like it's going to be impossible for the Germans to get that field as it is. And that smoke barrage, they definitely not arrive in time. But it looks like a big Osthuben force with some pioneers behind them is going to try and move in. Artillery going in here, looks like it's smoke barrage. Followed by some actual artillery. Oh, and the Germans are gonna go for the point.
They're trying to take it.
A dangerous maneuver, but it might pay off. Lieutenant is quickly trying to move in to try and stop it. So some sabers. This lieutenant might be in over his head, or the Understurmführer rather, might be in over his head. But the British might still be able to hold the point here. With some effort. No commander troops yet. Oh, artillery strike right on the Bren carrier. The Waffen-SS is still threatening the point. And well, it seems like it's gone more static up here on the northern front. We have a commander lieutenant arriving. This guy has some really good abilities of buffing commandos around him. Of course, he needs commandos for that. He's getting double armored car. The AEC is like a unique armored car that I think only commando gets. It's very unique because it has the same gun as the Cromwell, which means it's a very powerful armored car. And the Germans have taken the cutoff point, so now they're getting fuel from both. That's a big problem that's gonna be a pain for the British to deal with. Jaegers are trying to slowly creep up, but they have been spotted by a flare. Flare launched in by Canadians, I think, because Canadian infantry gets access to flares. But they have ammunition, so they're being airdropped in. The Germans are not going to be able to hold that point for long, I think. It looks like the British are going to be very intent on pushing forwards. But a flag in place, but it's trying to be set up. But the Recade team is slowly just picking off the Pioneers. Yeah, he's cancelling it. He's seeing it's too late. That Recade team is doing a lot of good work. But some mines that get set up. Like 16 kills of this Recade team. Triple Ostturben. So it looks like the Ostturben is being exclusively used for just providing need on the battlefield as infantry on the northern flank. Meanwhile, we've got a Valentine coming out. And I assume the AECs are prepared. Yep. The Wehrmacht Infanterie is still trying to do their best to try and provide some more front lines. Some Jaegers have been a call in. A veteran squad of light infantry that can fight in, well, most rugged terrain. If you're actually playing with the winter conditions, they are not affected by the cold, like if you have those enabled on your games. Very interesting unit. They can move around in the blizzards completely fine. Very few units can actually do that. Yeah, it looks like it's gone very static here in the northern front, fighting over this ruins of this farm and this down Stuka. Valentine pushing upwards. Wonder what the AECs will plan to do. It is a Commander Lieutenant. It's not doing too well. He keeps getting shut up. But the Valentine is trying to move forwards. He's loading a Willy Pete shell. But it hit the stone hedge. And good job with that Panzerfaust right there. Very good to see. Meanwhile, the Ostturben are just laying a lot of defenses here for the Germans to use. German Lieutenant is supervising. Commando bunker going up. The Ostturben will provide a lot of rifles, and if they can get to Veterancy 1, or Veterancy 2 rather, they can get an extra man. And having an extra man always tends to pay off. Oh, grenade killed off those Royal Fusiliers. That's gonna hurt. But the Vickers machine guns are still keeping an eye on the point. So that Lieutenant is in trouble. Germans are going for the cutoff point down here again. The Canadians have really dug in around this central area. As you would expect of the Canadians. Canadians seem to be relying a lot on the marksmen. I'm not sure I personally like that because the marksman sometimes feels a little bit cheesy to just keep spamming them, but it is not as bad as it used to be. Back in the day, the marksman could be really, really bad. Looks like the Germans have secured it, and with double machine gun, that's gonna be really hard to stop. Still looking for the Jäger Untersturmführer, a fire for effect. Panzer F1 arriving. AECs are moving into action. But there is anti-tank rifles, or there were one. AEC have been loaded with high explosives, so they're gonna tear through the infantry. There is a light AT gun though to try and stop them, and the F1 will tear through them. The AEC is not that armored, it is a scout car. And a Panzerfaust. So that was not that good for the AEC, I will say. Instead, the Valentine is being called in by the looks of it. Let's look what all the British players are getting. We're getting a Sherman from Royal Guard. That's going to be interesting. From the German players, seems like the Jäger is going to be taking up. The Canadian is going to be taking up too. And oh, we have some Stormtroopers arriving for Infanterie Division. A very good squad that can be armed for many duties. And I also can call in artillery. So these most of them have picked up a Bren gun. Get big smoke coming in on the infantry division. I mean, this Recade team is still killing a lot of units. Only on 17 kills still. Yeah, some Storm Grenadiers present. F1 though is very present, and the British don't have any big anti-tank weapons on them. They only have AT rifles. I don't think the boys' AT rifle will do too much to an F1, except immobilizing it. I will eat my words. He's actually doing the unique thing. If you're playing as Mechanized Theater, you can arm your Storm Grenadiers with 100 round MT-34s, which is often a very overlooked upgrade because they have access to the MT-42. Now you can actually arm them with both, so they can get a lot of firepower, but an MT-34 is not bad, especially not if it has 100 rounds before it has to reload. That's a lot of suppressive firepower. We have artillery on the northern flank. Sherman is trying to be a threat. Artillery is being around. There's a Pack 40 in the field though, so the Sherman has to be careful. German infantry is probably going to be able to repair this F1. Oh, Storm Pioneers get destroyed by artillery. And finally, a commando squad is being prepared. Now, another unique thing about commando for the British is I think it's one of the few allied commanders that gets close to pocket, which is a very powerful upgrade to have, or ability to have in the future, if they can get a big cutoff, which is going to be very difficult in this map though, I think. Oh, we have, what are these guys called? I forgot what they're called. It's like one of the unique units you can get if you're playing as, what's he playing as again? Can you see it? These guys. The 10th SS Division, which is like static infantry. They're actually pretty good. They can get an MT-42 with 100 rounds. I actually highly recommend using those. They're really nice. Let's see, we have a... What's this thing called? The Sexton? Command Cromwell. This thing actually... Oh, this thing actually has an actual gun. Huh. Oh, it's just because it's been given a time commander. My bad. And Sexton is immediately opening fire. Stormtroopers are trying to get up here. F1 is not having the best of luck today. Artillery going in on the northern front. Now, one of the advantages of playing Ost Division is your officers are combat units, like the infantry. So they can fight at the fronts because they are big units, and that is that was some rocket artillery. Ah, here we go. It's the land mattress from the British, or from the Canadians rather. That is devastating. The land mattresses are truly devastating rocket artillery. Now we have an Overwatch team here for the commandos, armed with double Bren guns. A powerful combination. And here we have the 10th SS. I personally really like these. They use the Panzerfusilier model for vanilla. I also think they use the voice lines of the Panzerfusiliers, which is a voice line I don't hear too often. Like, they look really nice, the 10th SS. He's armed with a Granatpanzerbüchse. Okay, so grenade launches. I suppose considering the terrain is probably a good enough move. It's just not hitting too much. But Germans have secured the cutoff point again. Looks like the Jaeger troops are trying to push on the Canadians, which is not going to be an easy thing to do, although more firepower effect is going in. We're just going to force the British to slowly pull back. F1 destroyed. Stuk is arriving though. And a Panzer 40 in the northern flank. But the British will slowly start to stack up more and more artillery. Artillery going back in here on the German lines. Mthis is going to hold up here, being armed with an MT-42 with 100 rounds. Trying to dig some something there for themselves.
Infantry squads are ready to conduct.
Now there is a Commander Overwatch team here, so they'll start get some kills in time. Because the Commandos are really good squads. Oh, we have the Welsh Guard. This guy been armed with M1 Garands. Okay. High explosive going in on the packs, but it's missing. And the Welsh Guards are just staying back. That's not a good idea. They're also staying in fire for effect artillery. Canadians got their land mattresses on the field. Probably one of the best rocket artilleries in the game, in my own opinion. Didn't say because it just fires such a big one, and the barrage is actually truly devastating. And there's a lot of artillery guns, which... Because all British get access to the Sexton, actually. Oh, land matches is firing. Or hitting the Jaeger lines. Oh, yeah, that's... hitting too much behind at the moment. So perhaps not the best land mattress you could ever hope for. No. It did something at least. I managed to slowly creep me over alongside a number 4 rifle section. Number 1 rifle section, my bad. Although I don't think the commander lieutenant should stick around for much longer. That Jaeger squad is getting good shots. And they killed him. That's a Veteran C5 Jaeger squad now, so that is a really good unit, by the way. 40% increased accuracy. With their choice of weapons, they'll be very good. So the commanders are trying to sneak up though, but the Jaegers count as recon infantry, so they can spot them. Land matches is opening fire again, this time at the Ost lines, I think. Oh, that's truly a devastating ability. And then artillery going in, and then white phosphorus going in behind it. That's a lot of dangerous firepower. Thankfully for them, the Sherman was immobilized, so the Royal Guards couldn't push up immediately afterwards. That's a satchel, I think. Oh, that's a smoke grenade. My bad. I don't think these pioneers are going to do much. Looks like an Untersturmführer is trying something. He's calling in rapid barrage. And Stuk support by the Ostwind is going to move up. Quite a dangerous gambit. Oh, he's using an ability that allows him to capture. But it's going to move on for a thermos grenade. It destroyed it though, but it immobilized it. I know Cromwell's going to try and make its move. But the Ostwind is going to start threatening the enemy line. But now the Ostwind is going to be in a weak position. But the Germans once again have the cutoff point. Oh, big howitzers are set up by the Royal Canadians. Aimed at what? Not sure what it's shooting at. Probably aiming at the Waffen-SS's Panzer Command, so they cannot get tanks. But I don't think artillery is going to do that much because the chance of you hitting that is rather low. Unless you have spotters, anyway. Oh, the front line is getting quite heated up. Command Panzer 4 present, but I think the Cromwell might be too much for it. Not good at all. But the crew is trying to move out to try and take the point. That's going to be under too much fire, though. Ostwind is immobilized. Cromwell 95 coming in with basically a 95mm howitzer. Ostwind is down. The 10th Grenadiers are pushing up. Oh, getting into the trenches, so good job. These are defensive infantry, so that's good. Land mattress opening fire and killing them immediately. Oh, the land mattress is brutal. I personally do think trenches should provide a lot of protection from artillery. That's kind of is the point of them. Because sometimes it just doesn't feel like the trench helps you against artillery. Like at all. In my own honest opinion, the trench really should provide a lot of defenses against such things. It shouldn't be easy to take a trench line, but that's just my own opinion. The Brits are definitely getting the upper hand slowly. They just need to get heavier weaponry. Was that double howards? That's double heavy howitzer for the Canadians. Ooh, that's scary. The Germans are gonna need to get something heavy out. And the Jagdpanzer's coming up for the infantry division. Not much else for the others. More Ostrom to replace the lost ones. 95 howitzer is opening fire on the front line. And land mattress is opening fire again. Yeah, the land mattress is just so powerful. Look at how many losses it's inflicting on the Germans. It might be a bit too powerful in my own opinion. That's really being called in on the British position. But the British once again holds the cut-off, denying the Germans more of their fuel. I think the Germans need to make a push through somewhere. Because a Comet has arrived for the British. Oh boy. And the Comet is a very good tank, because it can actually has a gun that can stand toe-to-toe with most German tanks easily. Especially the heavier ones, like the Panther and such. Because this is actually armed with a 17-pounder that's designed for it. It's also a very fast tank. But there's no Churchill, so it's not a moving brick, and the heavy howitzers are opening fire. The VL 5.5 inch is just destroying and hammering the German lines. Looks like the British are done playing. But assault artillery is going in at the Canadian positions. Also, a heavy howitzer, 50 centimeter, has been set up by the Mechanisierte. Very good choice. Probably a good way of countering the Canadian howitzers, and indeed it has. It's already equaled one of them. And the Germans are making that move. They have to move.
The enemy have killed the land mattress crew.
Oh, both land mattresses got destroyed. Ooh. Oh, the Canadian position is in peril. But the Sherman and the AT gun is going to try and stop them. And the Panzer 48 cannot turn this gun fast enough. There is a pack covering its side, but it's too late.
Heavy armor has been lost.
Oh, the Germans need to push them, and the Ostrom are doing the same at the same time. However, meanwhile, the southern flank has been threatened by the British. But the Jagdpanzer is pushing up here. That Cromwell's in trouble.
Forward structure under attack.
Oh, the Canadian position has been left bare. Barely any troops. Not looking good. The Manners are going to try and push up, but they're going to be pinned here. And we have a Panther arriving for Jäger. A very good weapon that will probably help them push through easily, especially if we can get the infrared optics. Oh, a Churchill Crocodile tank has arrived though. That Panther will need to act fast. But the Churchill Crocodile tank is an amazing assault vehicle. Heavily armored with a giant flamethrower on the front, and actually a good decent turret with a decent gun. That will tear through the German lines. And they're trying to Panzerfaust it. One of the Panzerfaust being one of the few weapons that actually has the chance of penetrating frontally easy. But the Panther's gonna help too. The Panther's gun has a very high velocity. It's actually the exact same gun as on the Jagdpanzer here. So the Jagdpanzer is just a cheaper version to have the same gun as the Panther. They actually had a fun thing, not really a fun thing, but the Germans actually tried to make the Allies believe that the Jagdpanzer 4 was actually a Panzer 4 they had managed to put a Panther turret on, or Panther gun on top of, which is why it was actually referred to as, I believe, the Panzer 4 something. I forgot the exact story of it, but it was like to try and make the Allies believe when they got the classified documents stolen through the Enigma machine or similar, that they were actually transporting Panzer 4s with the turret or with the gun of a Panther to make the Allies more afraid. But in truth, it was literally just a tank destroyer, because they literally could not make the Panther's gun fit on the Panzer 4 with a turret because it would be too heavy. So they instead just did that, like they often did, by not having the turret at all. Let's see, these Panzer Grenadiers are being very brave. Oh shit, command tank has been immobilized by the Boy's AT rifle. Oh, it's not looking good here. The British are still gonna be able to hold it. But with a Panther now, the British do have to be careful, because the British house is in counter barrage mode to try and stop the German howitzer from firing. But the Canadians are still holding their line. But the Panther will start to cause trouble if this battle is prolonged. You should also not say still. Yeah, because that could happen. Good explosion shot though, destroying the AT gun. There's a second one though. That's actually two. This Panther is in peril. But the Canadian howitzers do not care. Panther is still holding on. He'll need some kind of repairs though. Oh, that howitzer should almost hit it. Actually, it hit and damaged it, but there we go, it's gone. Sturmbannführer arriving for the Jäger. And a unique thing you can actually do is you can actually stealth all your commanders if you're playing as Jäger. Very useful ability to have. Looks like the Crocodile's making a push again, but a pack got a penetration. Oh, that Crocodile might be in trouble for once. Needs to be careful how the accent moves. Because the pack could still penetrate and do heavy damage. Oh, the German position is in peril on the southern flank too. They are calling in a mechanized grenadier group. And the Jagdpanzer is lacking repairs. Looks like the Welsh Guard is trying to make a push. Supported by some Fusiliers. Okay, Welsh squad down. Sexton is opening fire. The battlefield is definitely all over the place today. Oh, Elephant has arrived. But as the Canadians are present though. And a good howitzer shot from those heavy guns could immobilize the Elephant and leave it weakened. But the Elephant will help deal with the Churchill, like hands down. The Churchill will not be able to move up on an Elephant.
A squad of pioneers has arrived.
More Jägers arriving. So many explosions because of all the artillery. And these grenadiers are not doing too well. And they're indeed gone. Comet moving up. Hitting the hill. Not a good sign. Oh, and a shot from the Panzer IV penetrating. The Comet might actually be down if it doesn't do anything.
Infantry squads ready for all out.
There we go, okay. The Comet won out in the end. Stuka on this point. I think. Huh. Well, I'm looking at something else. That Panzer IV is being repaired. Looks like the Germans actually lose their thing, so they're setting it up again. Land mattress is firing because they got a land mattress again. Oh yeah, the German lines are crumbling. More Wells Guard have been called in, probably to prepare another push. MG-34 still trying to hold the line.
Relief infantry ready for reinforcement.
Little Cromwells are being prepared on the southern flank. And the Stuka arriving for the Germans. Artillery landing in the German backlines, aiming for the medic position, which is a bad thing, so they need to scatter. The British, so many British armies combined just have a lot of utility. And the Welsh Guard will just push up here. I don't think the Germans can stop them. The German line is crumbling. Germans might have to abandon this position.
Officer ready to be deployed. Under attack! Stay in cover and return fire.
Even the Auftrag not do much because the Canadians are just everywhere with their marksman rifles. Oh. Yeah, the marksman rifle might be a little bit too much, and there goes the medic half-track. And all the big houses is just destroying everything too. Oh. Yeah, 4v4 British seems kind of ugly. Now the land matches is firing again. Oh god. The Germans have no rest. They have no rest at all. It never ends, but the Spearhowitzer is in counter barrage. Destroying one of the Canadian howitzers. They might take shots for the land mattresses next. I don't think the Germans are going to survive for much longer. The British are being very relentless, and there's nothing up north to stop the Churchill. Because it looks like the elephant went down. Oh god, I completely missed it. Must have happened when with one of the artillery strikes. Churchill is just slowly creeping forwards. I don't think the Osttruppen will be able to hold them back.
Tank and crew ready to go.
Attention! Ready yourself for orders!
The enemy is
Yeah, all the heavy howitzers from the Canadians is just tearing through everything.
A new infantry section is ready for battle.
And what are the Germans going to do at this point? Stuks are being prepared though to try and stem the tide of British troops. The sheer fire superiority. We also have another comet, a Churchill arriving for one of the other British players. So just tons of heavy vehicles coming in. Oh, that crocodile's gonna burn up those SS troops.
That's nice. Target
But it's, the packs are getting flank shots now. And it's immobilized, it's basically gone. There it goes. That's one Churchill down. But I think at this point it's a little bit too late because the Allies are just being very relentless. Even the Canadians are getting through and actually trying to steal and self-destruct the German howitzers. Okay, I've never seen that before, but okay. Just all the artillery landing everywhere. Westop desperately trying to make a push forward here. The officer here is holding them back for a while, but won't be for long. And the Germans pull back. And more munitions being entered in for the Canadians, so it never stops. Also, the Canadians have brought in priests, not sextons. Full-on priests, so that is 105mm guns.
Tank ready and waiting.
And the 5.5s are firing again too. They are never pausing. They simply won't allow the Germans any time to rest.
Send orders.
Horrible stuff. Oh, good air. Good fragmentation bombs there. But there's just too many Welsh Guard here present. We literally have 5 squads of Welsh Guard. That's kind of nuts. I don't think I've ever seen that many Welsh Guard at once. Land Matches is firing again. The Canadians are definitely showing that they do not want to deal with the Germans today. Oh, we actually used the anti-infantry grenades on the vehicle. We often don't see those, they often get replaced by this smoke grenade. Another elephant on the field. Or will this one fare any better is the question. The Welsh Guards are pushing upwards.
Suffering losses.
There's nothing there for the elephant to really fight.
Ready for trouble.
And the British are just preparing more and more forces in the back. Another Churchill has arrived. But against an elephant? Dubious. Looks like the British are going to try and make a move for it though.
What's the mission?
Crocodile pushing northwards.
Heavy tank reporting.
Churchill trying to fight with an elephant. Elephant gets the first shot off by the Schmitz. Crocodile pushing for the center. Don't think the Panzer IV can stop it. Big Cromwell pushing the southern on the southern front. Stoops might be able to hold the flank here. But Crocodile is pushing through. Gebaldladungen, immobilizing it. Jagdpanzer destroyed. Stuk is... that's not good. Oh, and the Stuk might win. And it did. Do not think the Crocodile will survive against the Panzer IV though.
Enemy is attacking. 1
And it looks like the Germans surrender at this point. A wise move, I'd say. I hope you'll enjoy this 4x British battle. And I'll see you all next one, everyone. Bye-bye.